Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Schneider. Welcome to the Song Club.
I knew it was a bad idea to meet you here, my dear.
All right, welcome everybody. It's the Song Club. I'm Bob Schneider, and it's 2024. The month is May, and we doing it. We here. Do every month. Do every month. By the way, if you want to learn how to speak English, listen to this podcast because I'm a master of the language, the English language, and German. But I mean, I guess if I did this in German, there would be a lot of people in Germany listening to this podcast. So, Grüß Gott. That's for my German viewers, listeners. Anyways, welcome. I want to say thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you're a member of my Patreon Song Club, good on you. I appreciate it. And if you want to join and get all the songs that you're going to hear on the podcast today, it's real easy. Just go to Patreon, patreon.com/Bob Schneider. You can join today. We're not like, just, fill in the blank, Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, every single Disney Plus. We're not like all of those subscription services who, if you have one of the subscription services, at some point in the last 2 years, you've gotten 2 or 3 notices that they're like, hey, buddy, we know you enjoy our subscription service, but we're going to ram our financial dick a little further and farther, depending on what you prefer. Penis in your... Did I already say penis? No, I didn't say penis. I might have said financial dick. Anyways, I'm just driving home the metaphor, as they say in the biz. Yeah, we're going to ram that a little farther up your bunghole, as Beavis would say. And no, we're not like that. We don't do that. You set the price on Patreon, and then you stick with it or raise it or lower it as you feel fit. And we appreciate it. And by we, I mean me, also my 13 illegitimate children that I have to support across the world. What is looking at my face on YouTube, and can't say I'm happy about it. But yeah, getting older, as they say, and stacking the years on top of each other. Also, this is early as fuck. I'm doing this really early in the morning because I got to go to California, which I'm excited about. I'm going with the band. I haven't been with the band in probably 4 years. So excited to play. Going to be at the Troubadour, the Belly Up in Solana Beach, Troubadour in L.A., and the Independent in San Francisco. The California trifecta, as we call it in the biz. And looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Hope to see you guys there if you live out in California. And if you do live in California, I get why you live out there. It's the weather's nice in San Francisco and LA. But I don't know. I don't know what to say. I've never been a big fan of LA, but I will say the coolest people that some of the coolest people I've met live out there for some reason. And San Francisco, don't know what to say about San Francisco, really. Got a great art museum. Other than that, Rice-A-Roni, I guess. I think that's where Popeyes comes from, if I'm not mistaken. I know they say it's from Louisiana, but I don't think so. Don't Google it. For God's sakes, don't Google it. Well, this is the Song Club, and as much as you learn about where giant restaurant chains come from and other musical facts, this is mainly just me talking about my creative process when I write these songs, and boy, have you learned a lot over the years in terms of that. So let's get into it. Let's get into the song bag, find out what musical masterpieces were produced this month by yours truly. Starting with this first one called Owning the Rain. For sure my favorite song that I wrote this month. I live out in the country, kind of outside of Austin, and where I live is there's no street lamps out here where I live, and it gets dark at night. And my wife, for whatever reason, will sometimes get a wild hair and go walking around in the darkness. There's just wilderness out here, trees, animals, there's, I don't know, just you name it. I've seen it out here. Mostly, stuff like deer, but I've seen armadillos and skunks and fox, lots of fox, rabbits and stuff like that. And she'll go walking around at night. Now, it's scary. It's spooky for me to walk from my car to the house, which is, I don't know, 20 feet. But she'll walk through the neighborhood. There's no sidewalks. It's just trees and weird sounds in the night. She enjoys it. It clears her head, gets the adrenaline pumping, makes her feel alive. And, even though most of my songs aren't necessarily autobiographic in any sort of real way, emotionally they're sort of autobiographic, I guess. And anyways, this one, a lot of it's based on her walking around and just being who she is. So here it is. Let's listen to it. It's called Owning the Rain. I don't know what it is. Lately I've been doing a lot of whistling in my songs, and I realized, even though it sounds like a whistle, it is a whistle, by the way. It definitely, I'm mimicking. There's all kinds of birds and stuff that you hear at night, like mostly during the day. But we have a couple of night birds. I don't even know what that is, but we have some birds that make noises at night, and they don't sound like that, but that's what that whistle was, by the way. Night birds. I do feel like that should sometimes I'll refer to my testicles as the night birds. Jem and Clem, the night birds. I don't refer to them very often. Also, I never refer to them. But if I did ever at some point refer to my testicles as something, I'd probably call them the night birds. And then my wife would be like, why are you calling? She wouldn't ask. She would ignore that. She wouldn't ask. Yeah, at a certain point, you just stop asking people stuff in relationships. They'll say something, and then you just kind of go, oh. Or just ignore it completely. Like the Nightbird things would just get a straight ignore, I think, on my wife's part. And then if I said something like, oh, I'm leaving you, she'd be like, what? And I'd be like, I was just trying to get your attention. And then she'd be like, oh. Anyways, yeah. Back to the song club. Man, it's early. Did I mention that already? I've had a cup of coffee, but I really need 2 cups of coffee just to get to 0 nowadays, and maybe 3 cups of coffee to get to, I don't know, just right on the verge of a panic attack. That's what I like. I like that feeling where I just feel like, is this where I completely have a nervous breakdown, or where I shine like a diamond? Such a thin margin of error there. All right, let's listen to another song from this month. This one's called Remarkable Range. I have switched to a new DAW. If you're wondering what a DAW is, if you're not in the business, it's the type of recording software that I use. So I started out using Pro Tools years ago, which is sort of the industry standard, and then I switched to Logic because it's just a way better way to record on your computer. But then lately, my buddy Max Frost has been using Ableton Live, and in fact, we recorded my last record, which just came out last week, The Human Torch, and we recorded that on Ableton Live, and I love the way it sounds, and I've been having a lot of fun learning that software, even though my brain doesn't really work when it comes to learning new things, but I'm trying, and it's kind of a fun recording software solution. I don't know why I keep using all the latest lingo, but why not? I could have just said thingamajiggy, which is what Will Smith was referring to when he said get jiggy with it. He was just referring to recording DAWs. Not a lot of people know that about that song. All right, let's listen to this song that I recorded on Ableton Live and see what we think about it. I like it. It has a different sound to me. To you guys, it might be just like, oh, it's just another song. But let's check it out. It's good for like I don't know, kind of dance stuff. I think it kind of pops a little bit more than Logic. Let's listen. Here we go. Remarkable Range.
You got remarkable range, it's strange. Oh, you got remarkable range, it's strange. Oh, she down and down, she got something to prove. Not sure what it is, and I'm not sure if it's true. From what I heard, you better watch it. You better watch your back, bitch, watch your back. You got remarkable range, it's strange. I need a daily dose. You got remarkable range, it's strange. Oh, you hit me with that C-sharp, take all my money. She's a doctor in Miami. Ooh, it's raining honey, vibing on your slack ass, Bonnie beats. Baby got a shell bra, she's sweating out the seats. Got remarkable range, it's strange. I need a daily dose. You got remarkable range, it's strange.
Yeah, I could listen to that song all day long. Remarkable Range is what that song was called. A little synth solo there at the end. My favorite line of that song for sure is, She's got a shell bra and she's sweating up the seats. Pretty good. Pretty good, even though I wrote it. I don't think you're really supposed to give props to your own lyrics if you wrote them. But, to each their own, I like to say. I don't know what other people like to say. Mainly because I don't really listen to what other people have to say. As soon as somebody starts talking, it turns into the Peanuts movie for me. When they're in class and the teacher's wah, 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 wah. Somebody's like, hey, Bobby, let me tell you what I'm... And then I start thinking about something else. And then they're like, were you even listening? And I'm like, oh, yeah, of course I was. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, let me continue. And then yeah. So I don't... When it comes to other people and what they're thinking and saying, who knows? I'd just be guessing, really. I'd be doing my best at guessing. I wouldn't really know. But maybe that's what the world is, really. It's just about who can guess with the most confidence. Who can say they know something with the most confidence? Man, I don't know what it is. It's such a weird thing. I feel like in the old days when I was growing up, back in the late 17th century, you kind of hear about people getting famous, and so by the time they got real famous, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember hearing about them when they weren't that famous, and they got more and more famous, and now they're super famous. Nowadays, I just hear about people after they've become super famous, and I'm like, what? How? Anyways, I did hear about this guy Noah Kahn, because he played Saturday Night Live 6 months ago, maybe, I don't know, whenever it was. I'd never heard of him, but somebody was like, oh, I don't get Noah Kahn, and then I went on Spotify today, and he's got 35 million monthly listeners, which is incredible. That's a lot. And he's just playing like arenas. He's like touring arenas. He's like in Nashville at the Bridgestone Arena. I'm like, what? How does this work? Anyways, I listen to his music. Great. Like, I like the songs. They're cool. And he's got a picture of him on the cover of his album looking kind of intense. And he's got some dogs, like a German Shepherd. And it looks like he's in Alaska or something. So you're like, oh, this dude's a hard bitch. Like, he's up living off the grid in Alaska with his fucking husky type dogs. And from the songs, it sounds like he's living, drinking, and he's fighting. And then you look at the picture of him with the dogs, and you just imagine, that he's sort of like, I don't know, like John Wick. Like, I was like, oh, this guy's like John fucking Wick up in this bitch. And then I saw him on TikTok, and he just doesn't sound like John Wick on TikTok. John Wick, he sounds like my buddy Brian Rose. And yeah, it was weird hearing him talk, because anyways, I mean, that's the thing about music. Like, you can really make yourself into whoever you want to. Like, you can just become whoever you want to be with music. Acting's the same, it's very similar. But yeah, you just create this persona, and then people buy it, they believe it. And I've never been one to do that, just because it's dumb to me. It's not dumb in a, like, it's smart. It's a real smart thing to do. If you want to make money, like, if your whole goal is to make money, then what you want to do is you want to create this persona, and then back it up by pretending to be that person. And then the best way to make money in music business is to pretend to care and then act very earnest and very intense about your songs. Like, oh, this is, I believe in what I'm saying, bitch. And then sell that. And then people buy it all day long, people, because they want to believe in that. They want to believe that you care and that you mean what you're saying. And then you can make a lot of money that way. And I don't know. As I get older, I'm less and less interested in people who take things very seriously or pretend to take things seriously. So you have all these acts now. They're huge, and they're the idea behind these acts is that they don't care about money. They're just doing it for the artistry. They're just doing what they believe in, and they're authentic. Zach Bryan's a great example of that. And they might be, and probably are. I'm not saying that they're not authentic. I'm not saying that they don't believe in what they are doing. I just can't do it myself just because I'm too old. Maybe if I was younger, if I was like their age, I could like pretend that what I was doing mattered and, take it all very seriously and care in that way. But I just don't at this point. I just realize, well, we're all going to die and we only have a limited amount of time on Earth. And, we're kind of taught in this society that money will make you happy, and then if you got all these things and you can buy a big house and stuff, then you'll be happier that way. Even though it's not true, you're the same amount of happy no matter what you got. And then their argument is obviously, well, I'd rather be rich and not happy than poor and not happy. Yes, I agree with that equation for sure, but the reason that a lot of people are unhappy, I think, is because they're spending a lot of energy, wasting a lot of energy, trying to get money or these things outside of themselves that they feel like if they got, they'd be happier. And so it sort of is this cycle where it keeps them unhappy, blah, blah, blah. Why are you listening to the Song Club? Listen to the whatever Tim Ferriss podcast. I've never listened to it, but I'm sure that he talks about like being happy and how to stay happy or maintain your happiness or whatever. Anyway, I guess when it comes to music, I tend to just not take anything very seriously. And then when people do, I'm just not interested. But a lot of people are. A lot of people really want to believe in people, and they want to believe in music, and they want to believe in things. They want to believe in, I don't know, religion, or they want to believe in their political party, or they want to believe in their country, or they want to believe in, fill in the blank. People just really want to believe in something. And I'm at the point now where, I don't know what to believe in anymore, to tell you the truth. I mean, I have my own beliefs, which I'm fine with, but I'm not trying to pawn them off on anybody either, because I don't know. Anyways, it sounds like I need another cup of coffee is what it sounds like to me. Let's listen to another song. This is another new one from this month called Shooting Stars. Let's check it out. It's written by your boy, Bob Schneider. Oh, shit.
I'm just sitting there shooting stars.
I'm using an accent. That's always good.
I'm just sitting there shooting stars.
It's like from the Andy Griffith Show.
My mama, she gone, she died, she went to heaven. My daddy Don too.
My daddy Don too.
I
Don.
don't know where I'm going.
I like that.
Go and I leave you, but I know it's gonna be soon. I'm just still that shooting star. I'm just still that shooting star. I'm filled up with the wonder of the world. Oh, the wonder. Oh, it make me wonder. But I'm just in there shooting stars. I'm just in there shooting stars. So take my hand, lead me away from all these bullshit skies of gray. I want a miracle, yeah.
Oh,
I want a miracle, oh, yeah. Just something. You like this and I like that, yeah. You like this and I like that.
yeah. There you go. Shooting stars. Definitely, that song comes directly from listening to a lot of Fela Kuti, or is it Fela Kuti? I don't know. Never talked to anybody who. Oh, there it is. There's the song right there. Yeah, that's me trying to do a Fela Kuti song, which is fine. I love. Part of what I do when I write songs is like I like certain types of music, and so I'm like, oh, I want to write a song like that because it's fun. And so then when I'm writing it, lots of times I'll use an accent or take on a persona, kind of like what Randy Newman does, where he narrates a song, but he doesn't narrate it as himself because maybe that's not as interesting. He likes to take on different, like it's like an actor, like Gary Oldman playing Dracula, whatever. That's fun to do the accent and dress up with the fangs and stuff and pretend that you're a blood-sucking monster. And so that's what I'll do in a song sometimes. Lots of times, actually. And to kind of get into that character, you got to kind of use whatever accent you're going to use. And then some people might listen to that and go, what are you doing? You're like appropriating or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not appropriating. I'm trying to copy this music that I love. I'm trying to write something like it because I love it, and I want to write something because it's fun. It seems like it would be fun, and part of that is doing an accent. But then people are like, what are you doing? I don't know. Some people confuse that with I don't know, like racism or like, they call it like, oh, you're appropriating other people's shit or whatever. I'm like, I don't know, like it's I don't know, like there's some malice or there's something about that's I don't know. For me, it comes from a place of love. Like there's something I love, and I want to do it because it looks like fun. It just seems like it would be fun to sing like Fela Kuti and write songs like Fela Kuti. So that song is me trying to pretend to be Fela Kuti, but because Fela Kuti's black and I'm white, then somehow that makes it a bad thing. But if he was white and I was doing it, then it'd be like, oh, that's fine because he's white and you're white. It's like it shouldn't matter really, as long as my intention is comes from a place of love, then it should be fun. But again, we just live in a world now where people are just looking for things to get upset about, and also because people can't think critically or they can't look at things from different angles or imagine what it would be like to be anybody but themselves, and the themselves that they are is dumb and obtuse, and they're unable to empathize or see things from a different point of view, that they just believe whatever they're fed. And then maybe one of the things that they're fed is like, oh, if you do music that sounds like somebody else's music, and it's not color coded correctly, then somehow there's something wrong with that. And maybe in some cases there is. I don't know. I just know me, and I know that for me it all comes from a place of love and respect, and I enjoy doing it. Now, obviously, once I've written a song, if I like the song, I try not to, like when I go in and record a studio record, I usually take all the accents out and try to speak with whatever my normal voice is, or sing with my normal voice, which is a hard thing to do. Most people don't. Most people have a sort of a singing voice that they use that's got nothing to do with their normal voice. All opera singers use some kind of a singing voice. My dad's an opera singer. He doesn't talk like, "Hey, Bobby, can you come to dinner now?" He's like, hey, get your ass down here. It's dinner. If you went into the opera company, But people aren't like looking at my dad going, "What the fuck are you doing? You're appropriating whatever you're appropriate." I know. I'm missing something because I'm who I am. Like I'm missing some component that I don't understand. That's what young people are going to say. But also, young people don't care about me because I'm not young anymore, so they don't care about me. I wish I could say I didn't care about them, but I don't. I try not to. All right, let's listen to some old songs. I do have another new song from this month, but I'll save it for the end of the show. I did kind of normally when I'm picking songs for the song club, I go off this list of all the songs that I've written, and I tend to either start at the beginning or in the middle somewhere, and I'm just like, oh, let me go to the end of my list. And sure enough, there was a bunch of like really great recordings that I had that, because they're at the end, I've never released in the song club. And one of them is a recording that I made of the song "You Are So Beautiful," which I love. And I made it for this album that I recorded with Gurf Morlix years and years ago, at least 10 years ago, and never released the record. But I really love this recording we did of "You Are So Beautiful." So let's check it out. Here it is. That's not it either, so. But here it is right here.
You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything that I hope for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me.
While I was doing that, I remembered the word cultural appropriation. Dude, I'm telling you, it's that long COVID. I can't remember words like that anymore. Yeah. Cultural appropriation. That's what people say that you do if you, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I think that's the way the world works, is you go to the castle, and the people there at the castle, they've built a giant stone structure to keep your ass out. But if somehow you can build like a catapult and throw giant stones at this structure and breach it and get your guys in there and then overtake the guys that are inside that structure by either killing them with a sword or standing very far away and piercing their bodies with arrows, murdering them. If you can get in there and murder all their men, then you can rape all their women and then also kidnap their children, turn some of the men into slaves, and then take all their stuff. And that's called, let me see if I get this correctly. Oh, the way of everything for the entire history of the world as human beings. So yeah. So that's the way it's always been. But now we're living in a time where like, oh, well, we don't do that anymore because human beings are civilized now. We're civilized human beings and we don't do that. And no. We don't do it. But the bottom line is that's what we do as humans. And so a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, nobody likes it. I mean, nobody likes it except for the people who, win. Those people like it because they're having sex with your women and also eating your bananas and your rice and your livestock that they've captured. Those people are sort of liking it because also they're also grateful that they're not dead and that their women aren't being pleasured by you. Anyways, now we're living in a time where we're like, well, that's all gone now, and that's not what people are. People are whatever we want them to be, and it's just a lot of make believe stuff, a lot of make believe nonsense. It's fine. People like to make believe. They always have, because first of all, we don't know anything. We just don't. We're just here. Just born, no instruction manual, just come out. You got a bunch of dumb people all around that they didn't have an instruction manual. Their parents, nobody had one ever. And the instruction manuals were all just fabricated out of nonsense. Two guys sitting around a fire. Ooga, 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 ooga. Yeah. And then, pounding something into a piece of wood bark. Rules. Anyways, and so here we are now with our wood bark rules and languages that we made up, and everybody thinks, I know something now. I know how to say the word financial. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, good on you, buddy. You know how to say the word financial. All right, let's get back to the song club. Jesus Christ, I'm getting all philosophical on this one. I mean, I do that. I think probably on everyone to some degree. Yeah, all these songs are like in the Y. They all have like Y titles. You Are So Beautiful. This next one's called You Might Feel Better because I went to the end of the list where the Y's are. I like this song, You Might Feel Better. It's from 2017 is when I wrote it. So, gosh, can you believe that was 7 years ago? 2017 is 7 years ago. That's just weird. All right, let's check it out. You Might Feel Better.
You might feel better in a day or two. You might come to find you love the things I do. You might break your heart off into the blue, but you might feel better in a day or two. You might wake up tomorrow and feel differently. I might turn you on like a new TV. I ain't like the rest, baby, best believe. You know I got a few tricks up my sleeve. You might feel better in a day or two. You might feel better in a day or two. Time keeps rolling down the line.
Whoa.
All I wanna do is see you shine. All I wanna do is see you like it like that. But time keep rolling on down the track.
say your name. Shit gone crazy, but I'll play the game. I realize now that it's not too late. Got the damn police busting down the gate. And you might feel better in a day or two. You might feel better in a day or two.
You might feel better in a day or two. Yeah, kind of a fun song. That's one of those songs that I wrote it and I was like, oh, this song's so cool. And then we went and played it. I played it with my band, and we don't have anything that goes like that in the band. So I think we played it once. Never played it again. And then it just got put on the pile of songs that just didn't quite work with the band. And there's 1,000 of those songs that I've written that just don't quite work live like Tarantula does. And which is a bummer because that song would be fun to play. But again, I would have to get a different band probably to play that. And for a while I was doing that. In the early 2000s, the 90s, if I wrote a song, I was like, oh, that's a cool song, but I can't really play it with the band. Then I would start a new band. One of the bands I started was the Scabs, because there was a bunch of stuff I wanted to do in the Scabs I couldn't do with the Ugly Americans. And then I started Lonely Land, because there was some songs I wrote that I couldn't do with the Scabs. And then I really fell in love with bluegrass instruments. Not bluegrass music. Bluegrass music is terrible. But I do like the sound of the banjo and the sound of the violin and the sound of an accordion and the sound of a double bass, stand-up bass, whatever you want to call it. And so I started a band called Texas Bluegrass Massacre because of that. And then I really fell in love with EDM, and I started a band. It wasn't really a band. It was just a project called Hot Command. I did one gig with Hot Command, and I was like, oof, because he played at tracks. And, yeah, it felt weird. So I never played another Hot Command show, but that was fun. It wasn't fun. It was horrible, actually, because I was just standing there, and then I would press a button, and then I would sing to this track that I'd written, and it was not fun. But I will say during the pandemic, a lot of you were here with me doing the live streams that I was doing during the pandemic, and that was fun, singing to tracks here at home. But there's a different energy that you have when you're playing live with a band. I don't know, there's a feel to that where you're surrounded by guys that are making a bunch of noise, either with the drums or the guitars, keyboards or whatever. And that sounds, it's a very chaotic, crazy sound that you're surrounded by up on stage. And then you don't have that when you're playing to tracks. When you're playing to tracks, you're just getting the stereo feed of sound, and it doesn't feel the same way. Maybe it's something you get used to. People seem to love it. People like it. You got, giant, huge places filled with people that all they do is they show up with their computer and just make just huge mountains of cash. But yeah. Anyways, let's listen to another one. This is a song called "You'll Fall Forever." Originally, I wrote a song called "Butterfly Singer." And I thought that was real kind of dumb. And so I changed the title to "You'll Fall." Originally, it was like, "You'll fall forever, butterfly singer." I didn't like that. And then I changed it to "You'll Fall Forever and Ever." But now that I'm thinking about it, I should have just said "You'll Fall Forever, Forever." Maybe I'll change it again. All right, let's listen to it. Here it is. "You'll Fall Forever." Already I'm like, what is this sound? It's like Indonesian or something.
Don't throw yourself from the train. You'll never
get back again. We're over the bridge at the end of the world. Only diamonds and champagne, monkeys dancing in the rain. Green is the night the city sleeps. So you'll fall forever and ever.
Yeah, I should definitely change that to You'll Fall Forever, Forever. Plus, it's too slow. It's too slow.
On fire on the living room couch, inside the dragon's mouth, the severed head of the promise that she made with this pale gray grin.
Oh, shit, I'm getting fucking poetic with those lyrics. Boy. Inside the dragon's mouth on your couch, basically just making out, but, you know, trying to make it sound cool. Yeah, that's that song, You'll Fall Forever. Interesting. Sounds like I'm using a gamelan. Gamelan? You spell it gamelan. Maybe it's gamelan. It's sort of a Indonesian marimba made out of brass. There's this place in Phoenix, Arizona. If you ever go to Phoenix, go to the Instrument Museum. The guy who started Target spent like I think a couple $100 million buying all these instruments from all over the world and building this museum that you can walk through. It's really cool. They have all these incredible looking instruments from all over the world. Unfortunately, you can't like play them or anything. But as you're walking through looking at them, you put on these headphones, and every time you get close to one of the exhibits, the TV turns on and you can hear people playing those instruments. And then that, depending on where you are in the museum, you get to hear everything as you're walking through. It's amazing. Also, Target. I love Target. So great shopping experience at Target. And then I think that guy's dead now. So that but he left us with a great shopping experience at Target. I'm getting paid. No, I wish I was. How cool would that be? To be getting paid by Target to talk about a store that I love and my wife loves. My wife really loves it. I just like it. She loves it. All right, let's listen to another one. This is a song called You May Want to Take Some Time that was on, I believe it was on Burden of Proof, that album. And there's a lot of similarities because I took the demo when I wrote the song, and I took that into the studio, and we started with that demo, and then I think we replaced the drums, probably replaced the bass. We replaced some of the stuff, but some of the parts of the song we kept from the demo. If you're familiar with the studio recording, you'll see the difference. And I there's something kind of likable about this track. One of the cool things, for me at least, with the Song Club and all these songs that you're hearing, is that these recordings were made as I was writing the song. So, you know, there wasn't a song, and then that day I wrote the song. That's usually where this recording's from. Now, occasionally I'll go back the second day and make a few changes and a few edits. But when you're writing songs, it's kind of like pouring cement. Like, it really hardens up over the course of a couple hours, and after that, if you want to make changes, you got to go in there with a jackhammer. Really, it's a lot of work, and I don't tend to do that. I tend to just, whatever I end up with that first day is what the song is. Now, when I go into the studio later, months or years later, to re-record it with a band, I'll make some changes then. But again, that's more like, I won't do the accent, or I'll change, or the musicians that I play with will make some different decisions because they're better at playing, and so they're able to do some stuff that I can't do. But all these recordings, again, were there, when the inspiration was happening. So this song, you may want to take some time. This is the day that the song was written, the hour that the song was written. So there's sort of a magic and an energy to these songs that I really think is cool. So anyways, let's check it out. You may want to take some time. So that's a sample from this sound effects CD that I got probably 20 years ago, and I pull it out every once in a while and use one of the sound sources. This is like, somebody would use this in a movie of somebody walking or something.
You may wanna take some time before you go. No matter how much you've made up your mind, you never know.
Let's turn it up a little bit.
You got a strange way of smiling when you say goodbye. You got a funny way of laughing when you wanna cry.
Yeah, I changed that line.
You got a silly way of saying what else is on your mind. You got a terrible way of leaving everyone behind.
Yeah, I changed that line too. I changed it to leaving everyone you love behind. Better line. Better. The change was better. Really hammering that walking person as the beat on this version.
You may wanna lie down here in the grass. Take a moment, let it pass. Maybe there's 100.
All right. Anyways, you get the idea. Yeah, that was the original version, and I feel like it got better in the studio for sure. I definitely liked all the changes that I made to it. Sometimes I've noticed that I'll make changes to a song because when I'm writing songs, I want them to be interesting, so I'll tend to err on the side of like insanity or silliness or just stuff that doesn't even make sense at the time, but it's interesting sounding. So I'll just put that in there, and then sometimes I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense, or that's too crazy, and then I'll change it to make it more like what I feel like might be more palatable, and then I'll listen to the original version. I'm like, oh, that's so much cooler. It's just so much more interesting than the changes that I made, which make it more like I was gonna name 5 people that are hugely successful whose music there's not a ton of surprises in. But anyways, that's not an example. I feel like all the changes that I made on that one made the song better. And that's kind of a cool demo to have, because then you're like, oh, I got the original thing. So hopefully you'll appreciate having a glimpse, seeing like the rough draft of a song that maybe you really like that song, or maybe that's a song that means a lot to you, or it meant a lot to you when it came out, and now you have like the original thing and you can see how it's changed. Maybe you find that interesting. Hopefully you do. I do sometimes, be cool to have like the original version of a Tom Waits song or something that I really like. Anyways, that's why the Song Club's here. Not necessarily to tell you what I think about the world and people, even though that's what I tend to do on these podcasts. But hopefully, I talk about some things that are interesting in terms of the songs in between those rants. Always a pleasure to be with you here on the Song Club. Hope you have a great month, and we'll see you in June with some new songs that haven't been written yet, and hopefully will be. In the meantime, I'll leave you with this song called Too Pretty to Love. This song is based on an article that I read by Micheal Corcoran. I think the best music writer, for sure the best music writer from Austin. My apologies to all the other ones who aren't as good, aren't as funny, aren't as interesting, aren't as informed. Definitely not as funny. He's just really funny, and he's smart and insightful, and I think his opinion is valid most of the time. Anyways, he wrote an article that he has a Substack, which I love. It comes out once a week, and there are his old articles that he's kind of touched up a little bit. He used to write for the Austin Chronicle for years and years, Austin Statesman for years and years. And it's just like a walk down memory lane. I've been in Austin for over 30 years. I've seen it change a lot. And so reading these articles, you get to revisit some of the glory days of Austin. He wrote an article, 20 Best Bands in Austin. And so I'm reading it, and I'm like, well, I would love to be on this list. You know, I was in a band called the Scabs that was pretty popular in the 90s. Before that, I was in a band called Joe Rocket that was very popular in 91, 92. And then, of course, in the early 2000s as Bob Schneider, I was very popular, played a lot of shows, wrote a lot of great music, had a lot of fun playing, and so I thought, well, you know, I'm in the running for sure for one of the best bands in Austin with one of those groups. But I didn't make the list at all. And I'm sensitive. I'm a sensitive person, and I want to be included. I've never been considered for the Austin Chronicle Austin Hall of Fame. I'm like, how's that? Anyways, I just assume that they hate me over there because I've won more Austin Music Awards than anybody else, and I'm not their favorite, and I have more awards because it's a popularity contest. So they're like, well, fuck you, we're not going to give you the Austin Hall of Fame. Now, I'm sure I will if the magazine lasts, if the Austin Chronicle lasts another few years, and I get old. Eventually, they'll be like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should include Bob Schneider. He's been around for a long time. He's made a lot of music. Maybe we should include him. And if they don't, it'll hurt my feelings, for sure. Because again, I'm real sensitive. So, anyways, he wrote this article, and it had some of my favorite bands. It had the Butthole Surfers, which an incredible live band. It had, of course, Stevie Ray Vaughan, who I never got to see live, but incredible. Of course, Willie Nelson, who I have seen live, who's written some great songs. Of course he should be on there. And then bands like Spoon and Black Pumas and stuff, and the Gourds, who I've seen live. And again, I feel like I could have easily fit on the list. I'm not saying I'm the Scabs or Bob Schneider were better than any of those bands, but we were pretty fucking great. Like, there's a reason people kept coming to see us play. There's a reason we were very popular. But then I kind of looked at everybody on the list, and then I was just like, well, Micheal Corcoran's not going to... He's going to come to... I don't even know if he ever came to a show. I know he came to some Joe Rockhead shows. And when he came to a Joe Rockhead show, he saw a lot of young, beautiful women, and me, a young, handsome man, and these women adoring me and wanting to be with me, and me being like, yeah, I could take my pick of all these women, and I'm sure he was very jealous and envious of that. And in fact, we hung out a few times back in my drinking days, and he told me that. He was like, you're too good looking, and I feel like you're getting laid too much for me to be excited about what you do and who you are. And I appreciated him for his honesty. But at the same time, he did write some articles about me. My favorite article that he ever wrote about me was when my album Lovely Creatures came out. He wrote an incredible story about that album and about me, and it's probably the best thing that anybody's ever written about me. It just in terms of who I am as a person and who I am as an artist, and he kind of got it. He kind of got me. So again, I don't think he dislikes me. In fact, I talk to him every once in a while, and we get along great. But again, I think it's hard for him to get excited about what I do. This for the same reason that it's hard for me to get excited about somebody like Jared Leto, who's a great actor, but also way better looking. And even though he's 52, he's not that much younger than me. He looks like he's 30 years younger than me. He's a good-looking guy. He's in a hugely popular band, 30 Seconds to Mars, and so I'm going to try to shit on that guy with every chance I can for no reason. I don't even know that guy. So, having said all that, I just feel like Micheal Corcoran is like, well, he's not going to include me on that list because I don't think he had a good time. Like, he wouldn't have had a good time coming to see one of my shows because too many hot chicks all wanted to be with me. None of them wanting to be with him, whereas, like, he could go to a Butthole Surfer show and people are so fucked up and they're on acid and they're wasted. And he might get lucky at a show like that. Or the Gorge show where everybody in the Gorge is kind of looks like him, or you know, True Believers, even though Alejandro's a superstar. You know, again, I think he likes bands where maybe he might be able to possibly get laid. I just don't think he could get laid at one of my shows. I think that's really what it boils down to. Anyways, I wrote this song after I read the article. It's called Too Pretty to Love. We'll go out with that. We'll see you next month, hopefully, if all goes well. Take care. Until next time. Bye.
Second to went up, they had to catch a little water, but they got a little closer, and now they got a daughter. She's a statistician, and her name is Rosalina. She's about 35 and lives in Pasadena. What? She got a snow-covered fan, she keep in the kitchen. Yeah. She ain't got a lot of snow to show, but she's rich. Toenail trimming, that's what she uses for snow. Oh no, and she always says, wait, I'm too pretty to love. I'm too pretty to love. Too pretty to love. You just wanna fuck me. I'm too pretty to love. I'm too pretty to love. Too pretty to love. You just wanna fuck me. Wish I could give you what you want. Give you what you're looking for.